Bon, on peut aussi envisager de le faire en breton et ukrainien, non, dans des langues minoritaires, mais je pense que ça serait plus compliqué pour comprendre. C'est ce qu'on va faire malheureusement dans la langue de l'impérialisme. So welcome everybody. Welcome to the Centre International de Culture Populaire. I don't know if everybody knows this place. This place is devoted to international solidarity. It has existed now for half of a century. It is in this place since 25 years, more than 25 years, and it's devoted to many things like we do tonight. We are going to speak about Ukraine, social movement in Ukraine, and of course, we will leave a great time for discussion, question, and so on. With us is Katya Gritseva. She's member of Priama Diia, Direct Action, a union of students in Ukraine. And we have other Ukrainian friends or people who have been in Ukraine recently tonight. So they will add, as they want, some information or introduction. To start with, I propose to have a small PowerPoint, because that's something that's usually done in meetings. You know, now a meeting without a PowerPoint is like a vodka without lemon. Just as a short introduction. So this PowerPoint was done. Yeah, but the problem is we have not the image. So of course, without image, it's not very interesting. Comment on peut faire pour avoir l'image?
Me donner une bonne clé USB avec les images dessus.
Non, c'est le format.
C'est le format.
Oui, un problème à la lecture du format.
Oui,
Je ne sais pas quel format c'était.
Je sais le format.
Oui, je sais pas ce que c'est.
Non, mais c'est pas.
Si vous avez écrit un truc après le point PDF,
Ouais.
c'est une bonne chose.
Et aussi,
si vous avez
faire ouvrir avec, clic droit.
Celui de lequel c'est là.
Ça, c'est un Word. Ça, c'est la Serbie. Et l'Ukraine.
Au début,
là. Non, ça, c'est pas Word.
Ah, si, c'est ça.
Ah.
Oui, c'est ça, c'est celui que vous avez juste avant pour que tu redescendes.
Non, ça, c'est pas ça.
C'est pas ça.
C'est le bon, en fait. Vas-y.
Maybe we don't need it.
Oh, we have
Like, let's change one.
Okay, while he's looking for it, I'm going to explain what was in the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint was about some example of the really existing civil society. I'm not going to make a long discussion of what does mean civil society, or democratic or progressist organization in Ukraine today. Ah.
Voilà. Ah. C'est bon? Allez.
Okay. So it starts with an advertisement for a very interesting booklet about the movement which took place in July in Ukraine. I don't know if you noticed that there was a big movement in July in Ukraine. Probably we'll speak about it. Against pro-corruption, let's summarize it like that, a pro-corruption law that was proposed at the parliament, and there was demonstration to refuse it. And our friend from the edition Syllepse have written, done a small booklet that you can find online, which shows the development about this movement of July. So that was the first. Continue.
Yeah.
Next one. So that was this movement, you know, called. That's it. So that's a picture of this movement which took place in Ukraine in July. Remember that Ukraine is a country at war. So the demonstration are supposed to be forbidden. It's a martial law. And you can see that there was a lot of demonstration and a certain success, because this law that was criticized was repealed by the government. Next one.
Next one.
So that's what we are going to speak about. Priama Diia, the student union. Of course, they were active in this demonstration with their flag, as you can see there, but we will speak more about Priama Diia later. And that was not the only thing. For example, this is a picture of a meeting of the trade union of the nurses in Ukraine called Be Like We Are. And that's a meeting they had in August, 1 month ago, one meeting of the union, which took place during that period, this summer, another one. At the same time, you had a social movement of delivery, livreur, which took place in July. So that's just to show that there is ongoing social movement in Ukraine, despite the war, despite the situation. I say that because some very important people in France explain that there is nothing in Ukraine, that Ukraine is a dictatorship. And for example, you had this fight of the railway workers to respect the social convention, because it's a very important question of the social rights in Ukraine and of the social contract, especially that was the case about the railway workers. You can imagine that the railway workers is something quite strategic, and these pictures are pictures taken with unionists of the railway workers. Right. This is another type of meeting which took place a few months ago. A feminist group discussing about women during the war. That's just as an example, but of course you can find all what I am speaking about is very easy to find online. Another example during Lviv Pride of another feminist group. This is a collection of presentation of different type of human rights activist movements. We also can speak a lot about each of them. One is quite well known, the Center for Civil Liberties, because it had the Nobel Prize for Peace. But most of them were never heard of, and they are extremely active in Ukraine. For example, this one called Solidarity Collective. We will probably have the occasion also to explain what it is tonight. And this is about politics. This is about a small but really existing socialist or eco-socialist or radical socialist, I don't know to label it, group. And if you want to say more, this is a book that you can find on the table with their main positions. And this is another very important moment also for the policy in Ukraine. This is the funeral of David Shishkin. David Shishkin is a very well-known fighter. He was killed during the war, and he was also a very famous anarchist activist. So that is his funeral, and the picture in the middle are soldiers on the front, because a few months ago, David Shishkin made an exhibition, because he was also an artist. He made an exhibition of his works, and this exhibition was attacked by extreme rights activists. And this was a protest of soldiers showing the pictures of David Shishkin there on the front. And they are just saying, we are supporting David Shishkin, and not the picture of David Shishkin himself. And this is something that maybe you know, there was some kind of big mobilization yesterday in Paris. So just look at what happened during the demonstration yesterday in Paris. So that's just an idea about how things are going on in Ukraine. But of course, we will now listen to Katya because she can explain to us the example of direct action, this union of students, and of course, also, maybe also of other social movements in Ukraine.
I would like to make a short introduction to explain a bit more about what is my union and which connections we also have with these different movements that exist in Ukraine, and it was just explained by Bernard. And then I would like more to have some questions to discuss together, some things that interesting for you, that you would like to know about my movement or all other movements in Ukraine. So I am the part of Priama Diia. It's the independent student union, which we create in 2023. This union had some history already and was existing in different generations since 90s. But these generations, they disappeared, and in 2023, when I also started to study in university in 2018, there was no one progressive movement for students or even young people. All other organizations were or liberal or yellow unions that we have in every university in Ukraine. Sometimes it was right-winger organizations and anarcho-capitalist even. And there was no organization that you can join being from more left side, from more progressive views. So war escalated the social crisis, and it's also made some people more in a search. Where can they be active? Because you can be killed tomorrow, or you should defend your country and you should help the people. So a lot of people start to have questions, where can they be active? And so for us, it was important to start our movement in 2023, even if it was war, because we understood that there is no point to postpone, and that we should organize ourselves already, and we should work as a students on defending our own rights, but also to defending the rights of our colleagues. So right now we have around 150 to 200 members, with the biggest chapters in Kiev and Lviv, and we already did multiple actions and campaigns. Not all of them were successful, but we are developing the understanding of Ukrainian students that they can be militant in the universities and that they can stand for their rights and that they can change something even in their places where they study. We face a lot with indifference of the students. They don't believe that they can change something, and sometimes we should explain that they really can do it.
FSB, sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
And we fight like with several problems in the universities, like against discrimination, for better social conditions in the university, for housing for a student. One of the most biggest problems now in Ukraine, it's a housing problem, and for students, it's especially hard to find any place to live when they study in university. The most of the dormitories, it's like post-Soviet buildings that hadn't repairments for a long time, and now in different cities, they are attacked by Russian missiles. So we had this dormitory that was not very good. Now they also destroyed, and the places in dormitories in more safer cities became less and less available. But also in many times we should struggle for better conditions. For example, I used to study in Kharkiv, and before the full-scale invasion, I was living in the dormitory in Kharkiv because I'm from Mariupol. And in this dormitory, we hadn't hot water during the biggest period of the year. We had hot water only in the late autumn, winter, and the beginning of the spring, but all other periods it was no water. It was a lot of problems with anti-sanitary, no repairments at all, and also administration was harsh to us. They didn't really hear us, the local administration of dormitory. So I tried to find some people who will support the struggle to improve conditions in our own dormitory, but there was not much support from the students, and everybody was just saying that it's so bad that we live in such a condition, that everything is so awful, but nobody was starting to fight to some changes. And I was feeling really alone in this struggle. I wanted to have some organization, some comrades who will also be in the one side of me, but also on the side of defending our own place where we live. I had some experience, and I convinced my administration to make the changes in our dormitory. I succeeded in that, but for me, the creation of Priama Diia, it was also the personal thing that I really wanted such an organization to exist, to unite the people and create the collective that will stand for each other's rights. So in Priama Diia, we also trying to be in contact with different other movements to help different other movements. For example, in Odessa, our activists, they taking part in an organization called Street Aid Daily, and it's a small collective that organizing the grassroots help to the homeless people, and also analyzing the problem of homelessness in Ukraine from more left-wing perspective. Like they trying to give the homeless people voices and to show why because of capitalism people are forced to live in the street now, but also because of the war. They had multiple cases when to their giveaways for homeless people. In the past, people who were soldiers were coming because now they're homeless. So even some soldiers can become homeless. Or there is a lot of people who just lose their houses because of destruction, and now they're homeless. And they can have this information because they speak directly with the people who come into them. They want to see them as a human, as a people who are equal. Also, we are in contact with different trade unions in Ukraine. There is also not much development in what we call like militant unions, but some of them are really nice comrades. And Bernard showed the picture of Be Like We Are. It's the movement of nurses in Ukraine. We can't say that it's like trade union federation of nurses unions, but they're the movement which creating the different unions in the hospitals. And nurses in Ukraine, they have much worse conditions than doctors, than more higher position. They have super small salaries, and it's not enough to survive. And at the same time, they work. It's kind of marginalized, that nobody noticing they work. So they developing the movement to struggle for their rights, and they already have a big influence sometimes to stop some reforms that government wants to make to suppress their rights. We also in very good contact with Solidarity collectives, which is anti-authoritarian organization that helps soldiers. Like for different comrades who went to serve in army, and also they are popularizing the vision that left-wing soldiers, they also serving in army, and they serving in army because of their like anti-authoritarian position, that we think that Russia is the imperialist and the fascist government that like attack us, and we should defend and fight this fight this like authoritarian regime. So that's why a lot of anarchist organizations, they join the army. If you heard about Black Flag or Eco Platform, the anarchist organizations, they are joined army like in the first days when the full-scale invasion starts. It was important for them. And now sometimes it's really important to have their voices to defend our movements. In Ukraine, the society have this like post-Soviet trauma that when they heard that somebody is the left-wing, so it means for a lot of people that it's like Soviet Union, it's like something authoritarian, that we want to do like gulag or some like repressions against people. But we have a lot of progressive left-wing movements for the social rights of the people, which are not like that, and but we still obligate to prove that we are not some evil communists, and that we don't want we don't want to took the toothbrush from you or destroy your family. So when these comrades who went to the army, they are telling like to the people that look, we also defending you. We also want Ukraine to win this war and us to survive. So it's showing to the people that we, for example, these organizations who are not now involved in army, but from the same side, we are also okay. Maybe I would like to have some questions, because it's a lot of things that we can like talk about, but it's much more important to like hear what personally you want to ask, and what is the discussions now like in France that need some like first person like perspective, like not hear from some media but from somebody from Ukraine.
Si. Donc, Katya nous a fait une présentation. Oui, je vais parler en français parce qu'on est. Katya nous a fait une présentation de son organisation et qui est aussi une partie de ce qui se passe dans la société ukrainienne. Mais maintenant, je suppose que vous avez plein de questions et puis peut-être des compléments pour certains d'entre nous. Donc, la parole est à la salle. On va prendre le temps de s'expliquer. Vous pouvez parler en français ou en anglais comme vous voulez. Donc, oui. On va parler en français. Ok, français.
Moi, j'ai une interrogation parce que je suis pas très investi dans la question ukrainienne, mais ce qui me pose comme question, c'est dans le cadre d'un pays entièrement mobilisé pour la guerre, quel espace se pose et quelles difficultés ont tous les mouvements sociaux dans un pays qui continue à fonctionner avec cette guerre. C'est-à-dire, est-ce que l'État est-ce qu'il y a une hostilité vers ces mouvements, ou est-ce qu'il y a un soutien, un dialogue? Voilà.
So the question is like what problems we have while we organize during the war. Yes.
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 Okay.
Of the state.
Not only student movement, but all kind of social movement who accept war. I mean, they accept no choice, but they don't. They still want to fight for their right or the general function of the society.
It's of course much harder to organize people during the war, and when in a lot of cities people should experience the constant explosions and the risk of being killed. But it's still possible. We can organize the protest. We should just came to the city administration and tell them that this time we plan to do the protest, and we hadn't any cases when they forbid to do that. The strikes are now illegal because of the martial law, but we also sometimes see the examples when some strikes were happened. But also there is a lot of people who are unsure what they can do and what they can't do, because there is the war and the law was changed and some rules are very changing, and sometimes they are not sure if they really can do some actions or it will be illegal. And our part of work is also to inform them that they can participate in the protest, for example, or they can do this kind of actions and they wouldn't be repressed after this. So it's important thing to inform the people. Also, there is some narratives that for example, some part of the people, they think that there is no time to social struggle because we should defend the country, and to create some unpleasant situation or distrust in government, it can be bad. I think maybe this narratives was changed after this anti-corruption protests. Maybe a bit we will see, but we see how many people they went on the streets to protest against these actions of government, and they didn't fully trust government that if but also because corruption is really a topic that were raised in Ukrainian society for many years, and we remember Maidan and the revolution of dignity when actually the government was kicked because of also corruption and suits with Russia, but also corruption. And Zelensky, when he were participating in the elections, his campaign was that he will fight the corruption. And then this law that forbid anti-corruption structures, people were really offended. We in union, we work only legally. I mean, we not doing any illegal actions because we trying to build a mass organization. We don't want to harm our members by doing something illegal, but also working in legal field, it's enough for us. We still can be militants. We still can do a lot of things. We shouldn't do some explosions in the city. We don't want this to happen. But yes, for now the situation is like that.
Donc, des espaces possibles dans une situation très difficile, évidemment. D'autres questions, demandes de précision, compléments?
Peut-être un complément. Oui, peut-être un complément. Je crois qu'il y a quelque chose qui est né après Maïdan et au moment du début de la guerre en 2013-2014, où l'État a été absent déjà de la défense. Ce sont des milices qui se sont auto-formées pour aller vers l'Est parce que l'armée n'était pas assez organisée. Il y a eu aussi ce gigantesque mouvement de solidarité et d'auto-organisation de la prise en charge des réfugiés de l'Est. Et quand j'y avais été en Ukraine à ce moment-là, on sentait que voilà, les gens s'organisaient parce que l'État n'est pas là, donc on s'organise, donc on apprend à s'organiser en dehors de l'État. Et il me semble qu'il y a aussi quelque chose qui reste de ces choses-là, que ça soit dans l'actuel soutien aux soldats, qui n'est pas forcément assuré par l'État et qui du coup sont assurés par les familles, les villes, les quartiers, etc., comme l'a montré le livre de Daria Saburova, mais que aussi tous ces mouvements qui naissent, soit comme Nina, etc., enfin maintenant, soyez comme nous, relève, me semble-t-il, de ce type de culture. Voilà, si l'État n'est pas là, on s'auto-organise.
Ouais, bien sûr. Pour poursuivre ça, en fait, qu'est-ce qu'ils mettent en place comme activité concrète, par exemple, de solidarité avec je sais pas, les habitants comment dire, quelles actions concrètes vous faites pour en solidarité avec les habitants et les habitantes et ouais, dans ce cadre d'auto-organisation et comment vous communiquez pour justement ne pas forcément être enfin, juste pallier l'État, mais proposer peut-être aussi une autre vision de la société.
So, like, the question is how we as an organization communicate about our vision to the public, like in media, in our media, for example, or like, yes?
Pour pas que le travail fait soit juste compris comme juste ce qui pallierait l'État et qui serait juste
So in our union, yes, like we have a lot of different small campaigns and small struggles in the universities, but it's really important to create something like a community and to keep the contact between people who were participating in these events that were happening in their university. So the very important thing is to have the stable contact between different people in the cities. We succeed now only in Lviv, Kyiv, and Odessa, but in other cities we have some problems. And also when it's like a living community in the city, a lot of like other young people who still didn't join the union, but they want to speak with us, to participate in our activities, but also if they want just to join some interesting thing that happened in the city, they comment to us, and we have like networks of the different people. Also, we are in our media, we really aware that there is like some language that you should speak to the people now, like to the modern people, not using like all these old scary left-wing words. We have, of course, our ideas, but we understand that if we will leave the same way of writing and speaking as it was like in, I don't know, in October Revolution, people will just be scared that they wouldn't participate in such an organization. So it's important to be creative also in how we speak and how we write our statements and social media posts. But the most working thing it's in-person contact. It's to be presented in the university physically, to come to different people and speak with them, to organize some spaces where they can meet and discuss. This seems it's convincing more than just some like media activities.
Donc, le contact, plus le contact, plus le contact. D'autres questions et... Oui.
Sur les dimensions féministes.
Voilà.
Dans le féministe dimensions
The
of
feminist
your
dimensions.
There is a different organizations that exist in Ukraine, and very different topics. Some of them like more like NGOs that like big and have this like services for the women, but we also have some more like grassroots activist organizations. For example, Bilkis, it's very small one, and like they have like 4 members, but they are doing a lot of like actions. Like on the streets also. They can be not dependent from like the grants. Also, there was some like network between different feminist organizations, and it was called Feminist Network, but now they had a scratch because of some like internal problems in this network. So now it's like 2 networks, and like we participated also in one of them, and it unites the different feminist organization in Ukraine, and which are more like critical to capitalism and social injustice. So it's kind of like feminist progressive network. There is also some organizations, for example, for Roma women, because one of the most discriminated groups in Ukraine is Roma people. Like we also have some like a phrase that you are not racist before you will think about Roma people, because like it's the most I think like targeted group to like different races, and also like in society it's still this connection that a lot of people basically think that Roma people, they all will steal, and they, so there's like some feminist groups that help especially Roma people, Roma women, and like there is a lot of different other organizations. What else? We have feminist workshop in Lviv. It's important progressive organization for the city, and they have very different activities. Also now one part of the feminist activism can be to help the women in the army, and army is very patriarchal, structural. Of course, women will have a lot of discrimination in army because it was always built for men. But now a lot of women serving in army, and sometimes they even should struggle for their rights in army, like to have proper hygiene, like to have like army clothes that will be built for their bodies, and also to like say no to different people who are on more higher position in army. But still, like I think it's very like good development now in the position of women in army, and we have many cases when the participation of some women was like crucial to the victories we had.
I have two questions. First, well, maybe it's too soon to say anything, but like to analyze anything, but because it's only a month since like the protest, anti-corruption protest in July. But do you see like some effects in society in Ukraine, like if there like other protests or anything, or not at all? And also, how do you see all the negotiation between Trump and Putin right now?
I would like to let the word.
Je veux dire en français.
On dit en français.
Oui, donc c'était sur est-ce qu'on voit un peu les effets actuellement suite aux manifestations qui avaient en juillet contre la question, est-ce qu'il y a des changements actuellement à la société ukrainienne, et aussi, enfin, autre question, du coup, comment est-ce qu'elle voit justement les négociations qu'il peut y avoir entre Trump et
So I will let to answer this question Maria, my comrade from Kiev. She also the part of Priama Diia and the Commons Journal we work in. She was participating in the July protests directly, and I kind of missed them, so she can answer more precisely.
Okay, yeah, actually, we feel like this impact big because like before it was the first big protest since full-scale invasion. And now there is like some feelings that it could be more protest actually, because like we now in Ukraine, we don't have censorship, but we have a lot of self-censorship. So, and it's also about media, but also about like what you say, how you present Ukraine, etc., etc. Yeah. So, but. Now it's like was a red line which we are crossed with this protest. So we think that like now our government should be a little bit more careful. Yeah, more careful with their action, because like what they did it in a really bad style. It was like and it was. like unmoral in the sense that it was law draft about people who who missed like during the war, we don't know their life or their death, and they just put additional like norms to this law, and it was like, what the fuck, guys, you couldn't do it like this, but they decided that they could do it. So now we feel they should be more careful, and also we we feel that the government tried to like understand what happened and how they could prevent it. Like, for example, now we have a new law which allows boys from 18 to 22 go abroad, like, and come back to Ukraine also, but still 3 years it was prohibited, but now it's like they could, and we ask why now, because there is no another reason than like this, because this protest was only about, like, not only, but the biggest mass of people who were in this protest is young people, like 80-22 actually. And there was also another countermeasure that they decided that protests should be you should agree protest with war administration, like, but they kissed it because it was like what. Yeah, and it's also important that there wasn't a lot of problem to organize protests even like before this. Like Priama Diia had like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 protests, and other people, but it wasn't mass, so it's like. Yeah, and another important stuff that we have, like, now people who in army, they couldn't be demobilized actually, and like there is some movement to introduce like same terming that you will know when you will go from army, maybe for a year or somehow, and I also feel that like this movement feel a little bit embarrassed because like they have questioned why a lot of people went to the protest about like Nabui Sapu, but we don't have big protest like to support people in army enough. And it's not like I don't feel this impact yet, but maybe in future it also could like contribute to some division in society.
D'autres questions, interventions, précisions?
And there was also a question about like how do you see like the negotiation right now between Trump and Putin?
That's
good.
Yeah, like the situation in Ukraine, it's like super like frustrating if we like speak about like big politics, and as an activist we not much thinking about this because we like everything can happen. We already had so many very bad situations, so many unexpected like awful things happened in Ukraine, and with like negotiations, like we really don't know how it will be and where we will like appear. So it's really hard to answer about this question. We will try to survive and to organize people more, to like keep people together more, because like if war will be more years than now, if it will continue, in any case we should have well organized society and if war will end, we also will have some consequences, and there is also like it's good to have progressive and well organized society. So I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I also share this feeling that like we speak a lot about geopolitics, but not in serious manner actually, because it's like I feel yourself a little bit in strange position when you speak about this. But you need to do it because like a lot of news, like some events which are not really events, just like, I don't know, tweet from Trump, why I need to read it actually, but yeah, news try to be more geopolitical, and also like people don't want to believe in this negotiation in sense that there was like too much hope and then it just distracted, so it's better not to believe in anything when you will till you will have some proofs for this, but it's really like when you speak about I don't know, territory, if Ukraine should give up with Crimea or other regions. Like it's difficult to have this question in Ukraine now, but I don't know why. Just like you feel it's not appropriate to speak about this because like everyone has people who in army, but when you like speak with people like everyone, almost everyone, they have also some rights who I believe not really want, but almost all people want to war finish at the same point, and I believe that when we will see some sign for this, because like I don't know how it's from your perspective, but from our perspective there is any sign of ending, because like we know this like action from Putin, it's like nothing, no hope for ending. So, but when this moment, the sign of ending will come, I believe that we are still able to have this discussion in Ukraine in like quite a good level. But also, like every year of war makes our society a little bit lighter, like because it's like people die. It's a little bit difficult to be left when you like you want revenge, etc., etc. And every year it will be more difficult. But now we still have like I feel we have this. We have this opportunity to have a good constructive discussion inside Ukraine, what we like could do to finish war or not. But now we are not in this position.
Quelles sont les actions qui vous paraissent les plus utiles pour vous aider? What type of action can we do to help you as much as possible? What are the priorities from your point of view?
1 second.
Okay. We can try to answer like from two different perspectives. Okay. But maybe not different. We don't know. Maybe one. Okay. So my perspective is like how to help us. It's to be in contact directly, to learn from like the people what is really happening like today, or for example here's two comrades from NPA who was in Ukraine and who went to different cities and speak with different organizations and seen in which field we are working now. and feel in which danger also you can be and still doing activism. It's really important to understand. If you would like to come to us, we will meet you and connect with different people, and also show you what we are doing. But also to speak that such movements, they really exist in Ukraine. The media covering of this side is really small, and what the people, for example, in Syllepse are doing, they are translating a lot of materials about the social struggle in Ukraine, so you can read it in French, and to share just information which you usually can't find in the media. It's also really important to talk with your comrades. You can support us by talking to other people in your organizations or in your workplace or university. And also, it's really interesting to exchange tactics, because we are a very young movement. We don't have the same level of the militant tradition and the development of different movements as we have in Ukraine. And sometimes it's really important to learn something about how the same movements were working now in France, or how they were working, which tactics are good, which tactics are not really good. By proving our organizational work, it's really helping us also to Ukraine, because we're trying to defend the social rights that we still have, and to help people and workers and students just to not be exploited, to survive all these awful events.
Okay, I have the easiest way is support by money, for example, Solidarity Collective, the easiest small amount of money, but monthly, because we know these people struggle with a lot of volunteers are kind of burned out, and when they feel that they have this support systematically, it gives them some energy. And I have the hardest activity, which you could do, the hardest one, this war and also other wars pose a really difficult question about how to live together on this planet, and in Ukraine now we try to survive, but also we think about this, but we don't have much energy to think a lot. So I believe that it could be part of your job to try to figure out what this war show and how we can think. Actually, I want to say that fighting capitalism here is showing solidarity for Ukraine also, because if we will see it's a lot of inspiration when something somewhere happen good.
Like yesterday.
Yeah. So, but also this capitalism fight should include this anti-imperialism and anti-colonial way of thinking. What I mean that now we see that capitalism want us to choose, you actually choose, do you need social security, or you need to send weapons to Ukraine, and it's this or this, there is no other choice, and different people
like you need to have position about this. But what I want to say that it's good idea try to figure out together is there is only these two position, or maybe we could like find like another kind of third way, I don't know, something how we could avoid this stupid opposition which do not help us to build solidarity and just and safe place our planet.
What about ecological movements in Ukraine during the war? Les organisations et les mouvements au niveau de l'écologie.
Donc, je voudrais savoir si vous êtes en lien avec les étudiants serbes qui aujourd'hui se battent, y compris sur les mêmes positions en Serbie.
Because there's like
Il y a une question d'abord.
okay, about ecological movement. So Ukraine being like in war had a lot of destruction of like different natural resources and like animals, soil, like every thing in nature are also like under the attack of Russia. So there is different ecological organizations. Some of them are more like institutionalized, more like NGO. Some of them are more like activists. For example, there is ecological platform, and they like radical anarcho ecology activists. And they can have some like direct actions. The most of them joined army now. There is also some organizations that save the animals from the destroyed territories and trying to like save some animals from the parts of Ukraine that was really damaged and to help them. There is also the movement against privatization of the forest, because it's still the case. We have the Carpathian Mountains and some very like rare natural zones. Now they under the danger of like privatization and like destruction, because like they plan to build something there. Also, we have sometimes local activities. Yeah, like sometimes, for example, I live in a village near to Kiev, and there is now deforestation. Like they just destroy forests to make a big project, cemetery, national cemetery, to honor the people who died in the war. Yeah, but still, even in this situation, because like it's really, you are in really stupid position when you are opposed to like a military cemetery during the full-scale war, but still from others, like people who live near, they like point out that it's ecological catastrophe. It not only because they like kill forest, but also because there is like very complicated situation with water underground. So there is like some rivers, and it could be really dangerous. So yeah, it's a really good example that even like it's about self-censorship, that even in this situation, it's like
you could say something. And it's interesting how like court system actually in Ukraine, judges are in the most cases they are on the side of ecological activists. Yeah, so it's really cool, but we have another problem that court decision is not respected by other authorities. Yeah, and also with all of these like blackouts, electricity, bombing, really we have really a lot of discussion about alternative energy, like solar panel or lines, etc., etc. But unfortunately, almost all this discussion applied by not by leftists, but like people who like trying to use the situation to make more fortune on this. Yeah, and it's also have connection with Carpathian mountains because they just want to use a really big part of mountains to have this one. Yeah, so it's awful. Yeah, but I believe that it's not really a common. It's not really common in Ukraine to match ecological movement and left movement. We have some initiatives, but it's not a lot. And for us now, it's like a big question how we could do it actually to be like eco-socialist. I don't know, like, but just to like to be together and to be more powerful. Also, in Commons, we have like some articles about the different things that happen.
Le Commons, c'est une revue ukrainienne. About the Serbians.
About Serbians. So we are the part of the network called University at War, and this is a network of different student organizations in different countries. The task is to find the like common things between us to speak about the movements in different countries, about tactics and support each other, but also to create some like knowledge about what is the what is means to study in university in this like late stage capitalism and with the war. So like universities at war is because we are, for example, can be really at war like Ukraine, but also there is a class war in the universities. We fighting for with authorities and we have different struggles and we can speak about them directly to each other. And this year we had summit in Bologna in Italy, and in the summit there were the students from Serbia because they also joined this network, and we had opportunity to speak with them directly and to hear about their struggle, to ask the questions to them. But the most important that they joined the network, and now we have like this constant contact if we would like to develop our solidarity and like exchange. We have the direct contact for it.
Yeah, for both of you. What did you think of yesterday? And from Ukrainian point of view, what do you think maybe we will lack to win for demonstration yesterday?
Okay, so like we participated yesterday in different activities. I was like since like 6:30 in Montreuil. But I wasn't like blocked. I didn't try to block because I don't want to be expelled from stuff. So I was just like watching and trying to be safe. And all these events was like much more impressive that like we have the protests in Ukraine, and we I have never seen such a things, and it was a lot of people and it was impressive, but still it's still not enough. And I don't know what you should do. Like you already have more developed left-wing organization than we, and it's still not working. Like keep organizing. I don't know.
I was like, we were together at some point, and then I decided to went to another station metro because I have some like work call, and I went to Place de République. I didn't know that there should be something, and I found out that like police is actually around all Place, and I couldn't ban from Place, and I was so shocked about this fact because like I saw such of this only during Revolution of Dignity, and it wasn't like first weeks. It was like when people actually like dying, and it was like crazy. And even then, we were not like surrounded by police every time. So and I had like really bad feeling about this because it's like you shouldn't agree on such policeman of protest. I don't know what does mean, like you shouldn't be agree. But it's like it makes protest, I believe it's immediately changed the focus of protest because people are treated by like actually animal in some space. Yeah, so I was really impressed with it. But also I'm impressed how like easy to French people like to go to protest. It's like in some location, like near Hospital Tenon, it was like quite festival feelings. Everything was so nice. There was some music. On the another place, it was like more serious, but like but I don't know, at the same time it was really chaotic without center. I like it in some sense. I don't like it in other sense. It was like different, but it more show it a little bit looks like the latest protest about like SAP in Abu, in sense that also we don't like there was some scent, but also people just like chill around. I don't know, interesting, really interesting. But maybe someone could answer. Like, is it easy to go to protest or to organize strike in Paris?
It depends. We're known to protest a lot. Even young people protest a lot. We love to do it. It's part of our culture, really. And it depends. When you're protesting against the government, it's quite hard to organize a protest, but we do it anyway because we're French. And that's why in those sorts of cases, we aren't very friendly towards police, and they aren't very friendly towards us. It depends what we're protesting against. For example, with the retirement reform, the police was mostly with us because they didn't agree at all either. And but yesterday it was a bit different. But for example, during the feminist march in a few months back, police was there, but they helped us by like just pushing away all the extremists and protecting us. So it really depends. we do protest a lot, we love to do it, and our relationship with police is very peculiar. It depends on what we're protesting on, but most of the time, if we don't agree on something, we are going to protest, whether it's easy to do it or not.
The principal question is the ritualization. In fact, we have a lot of that. Yeah. The ritualization of demonstration.
Ritualization?
Like a ritual. We do the same thing, the same time, for the same action. And maybe what we all have to learn, it's what we call the repertory of action to overthrow the things we do all the time. And yesterday it was like that, and it was interesting because it was not just in Paris. People in all the place did things like biking on the autobus to slow the flow, and all the kind of things to learn constantly to create this struggling forces with this thing.
And French protests are really special because we, for example, you only have to do like 1 or 2 protests to know there are chants. We sing all the time. For example, we sing Petit. It's in Italian, but most of the time we have people just singing it, or other chants like pretty hateful. You can say whatever you want in France, like we're gonna hate on Macron, we're gonna hate on the government, presidents, everything we want, we are protesting, really. There's gonna be music, there's gonna be people celebrating, you have tons of plans. And for example, recently, farmers were really, really annoyed. So they decided to block most highways, just like that, using their trucks or just whatever they had on hand. And the police wasn't really happy about it. And it didn't really help the cause, but it was just to protest and say, we're here and we're angry.
You can also see about your own history. I remember it was just after Revolution of Dignity, and there was the Priama Diia of that time who occupied, I don't know if it was the Ministry of Education. It was the Ministry of Education. And so, well, to imagine French student occupying the Ministry of Education in Paris, wow. So it was, I would say it was an example for us, what you did.
Votre réaction là-dessus, parce que votre question.
Yes, maybe I didn't really understand what you said, but I don't feel like the police was really nice to us during the retirement reform. There was a lot of repression, and yes, so there was a lot of repression, and the big point of not the big point, but it really changed when there was the Gilets jaunes movement, and since the Gilets jaunes, the violence of the police is really high, even if it was at its highest point by that time. It's still really violent, and actually there are much more with the far right movement than with the far left, for example. So I feel like maybe you were not talking about the same thing, but actually when there are far right groups, they are actually protecting them and not protecting the others. And there was kind of a Nazis group that protested, and actually the police they really protect them from the other people who wanted to make this protest stop. And also so yes, there is the tradition of protesting, but I feel like there are differences between Paris and other other cities, and in France it's not uniform, and I feel like maybe people will have other argument on this or point on this, but yeah, I feel like it's not really uniform.
I think it really depends.
Bon, je propose qu'on ne fasse pas toute une discussion sur les formes de protestation en France. Oui, c'est intéressant, mais c'est compliqué.
There was a question, how I remember, what things people want to know how can help to move education now in the future, and what do you think about this idea? Now, in Germany, more than 1 million of Ukrainian people live in France, Spain, Poland, million or hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian people, and after in the future, part of them continue live in this country, and they will be interesting to left parties and to left unions, trade unions, and part of them will come back to Ukraine, and they will be very interesting to Ukrainian left forces. And what do you think about ideas that appear, for example, France left parties organization, left trade unions can unite their sources and invite trade union activists, exile Ukrainian activists with that point of view to the job in the unions, in the parties, in order to work with Ukrainian people now in these countries. In order to invite to trade unions to political activities here, and maybe it will be positive if for European left forces and for Ukrainian left forces. Do you know something about such attempts, or maybe there is discussion among Ukrainian left, or there is some problems with this idea?
Yeah, I believe that it's really great idea. I thought about this like several hours before on another meeting. Yeah, that if like French left movement, left organization could like works with Ukrainians and show them how it could be, it will be really great. But it's really difficult job. Like it will be not easy because, like as Katya said, a lot of Ukrainians have this like stigma or on about leftish like comment. I also feel myself a little bit like dizzy when I see this like circle, like communist emblem. Yeah, I know that like it's different, but still it's like the first instinct that okay. What, sorry? Yeah, yeah. It's just like I just want to show that it could be really difficult at some point if you are like if you're left organization, so it's have some association. But if you could do it and we could help you to, I don't know, we could think together how it's better to engage Ukrainians here in left organization activity. It will be really cool. It will be nice. But I'm not sure that idea that like separate person should be responsible for this. It's really good because it looks like a kind of project. I think like much better that just to have like this focus that okay, like you're doing events, maybe we need to make more efforts to invite some Ukrainians for this event, like to make it a little bit more organic, not just like going and looking for Ukrainians on the street. Like, I'm joking, but still. And also maybe it could be, but it could be a question of language because not all Ukrainians know English or French, so yeah, we need to be creative with this idea to figure out. In one of our comrades union, Instytut Pracowniczy in Poland, they organizing the
union of domestic workers, and mostly Ukrainian women, they participating in this union. So they are the part of this union federation, but at the same time, like the most of them are Ukrainians. So maybe like the unions here also like but it's the whole all other work, and it should like have some people who motivated to do this and develop this. It can be really hard to make a research like which professions here now are like mostly Ukrainians doing them. It's probably will be a lot of things also like domestic work and some very low paid jobs.
But maybe like it's a good idea for leftist organization treat Ukrainians not like Ukrainians, but just like workers. Yeah, and it could have more sense. It's like it's really nice idea and experimental. I don't know how to realize this, and I don't think that like we being in the be active in Ukraine, we should think about this. Like we should maybe yes, but it's like who have more time for it and who have more like possibility to also think how to develop the like Ukrainian movement in exile, and this question should be raised by the people who are here in exile.
So time is going on, and I still feel a certain feeling of being tired, especially of our intervenant. So we have to proceed to the end of this meeting. But I want to react to what has been said and say a few things. First of all, to start with what you just spoke about, what to do with the diaspora, with the exile and so on. Of course, it's very different from one country to another. If I take the French case and the Ukrainian case, the Ukrainian diaspora in France, it's not very big, and it's not very focused on specific social positions, which can be very different from other countries. But if you look at our experience in France, we have a lot of diasporas and of people who are in exile or in between countries. And we have a lot of experience about what to do when we are progressive, leftist, and what we don't do, what we do and what we don't do. And most of the time, we don't think about it. I mean, the progressive people. If I take the example, the small example of our small French network of support in Ukraine, the RESU, the French branch of the European network of support in Ukraine, we are participating regularly and systematically to some initiative done by Ukrainians in France. It's absolutely obvious that for most of these people, refugees in France, not to speak with the old diaspora, are not politically speaking leftist. Well, they are not very political most of the time, but they have, you know. Now, after 1 or 2 years of being together, they start to consider that maybe progressists can be supportive to Ukraine. But that's not far from being able to have a kind of politicization of organization of these exiled people, except a few, through the progressist organization or union in France. Even if, once again, there are some experiences. Now, another problem about progressist or leftist in a country in Europe and in France in particular, toward Ukraine. We have experienced for months that a part of the progressist movement. When I say progressist movement, I don't only mean members of leftist political parties. I mean also activists and different social movements. They don't want to speak about Ukraine. They don't want to have to think about what can activities or what can even symbolic activities of declaration they could have towards progressists in Ukraine, towards unionists in Ukraine, towards etc. Because they don't want to speak about, they don't want to speak about, to think about the real existing Ukrainian social movement today. They want to understand that the war has something to do with geopolitics, and they don't want to be involved in a way or another. Or even worse, like Jean-Luc Mélenchon, like Putin, on purpose, decided to do explicitly to explain that there is no progressist movement in Ukraine, just at the moment where there was this protest against anti-corruption protest. He did that for internal political, French political reason, and for kind of geopolitical fantasy. Which the result was that we can see practically some movement or organization which are under the influence of Jean-Luc Mélenchon party did meet with our friends. Especially if what we need to do, and it has been said by our friends, is first to have contact with Ukrainians, to go there, to express solidarity, and also at level of different movements and so on. Then, if we want to know more, of course, about what's going on in Ukraine and the movement in Ukraine and so on, and also how we can go toward, because we can imagine that in the coming days or months, we will have a very frustrating situation for the Ukrainians if there is, which is not on the agenda today, but can be tomorrow, a kind of ceasefire and a kind of false peace. Ceasefire doesn't mean peace at all. And a kind of reward for the aggression and a kind of destabilization in Ukraine itself. That we will have some people who will say in Ukraine, we have not succeeded because we have been betrayed by some people. So some people will say we have been betrayed by the West, or some people will say we have been betrayed because the government was not strong enough or whatsoever. And some people will say we have been betrayed because some of this movement inside the Ukraine was not patriotic enough. Stabilizing national unity or whatsoever. We have seen that in other situations, in other time, in other historical time in our country. Just to give you an example, after the French defeat in 1870 against the German and the Prussian, there was, of course, some popular movement who say one of the reasons of the defeat was the bourgeois rightist leadership in France. But a lot of people said we were defeated because this was this progressive. We were fighting the unity of France. And we should insist on the fact that we are supporting the movements for democracy, for social justice, for social coherence in Ukraine, and show it also symbolically. Okay. Yes. Stop. And if you want to have more, you have to, first of all, there are two texts I want to share with you.
Je voudrais faire savoir
Attends, avant de...
que moi, hier, dans la manifestation à Châtelet, en tant que vieux syndicaliste, j'ai beaucoup apprécié un jeune groupe d'étudiantes et d'étudiants ukrainiens qui brandissaient à la fois leur soutien à Gaza et, en termes internationalistes, un appel à ce que nous soutenions effectivement le peuple ukrainien face à l'invasion fasciste russe. Donc j'ai beaucoup apprécié le fait que pense à Gaza, et j'aimerais que dans nos rangs de syndicalistes, nous pensions aux Ukrainiens. Voilà. Que la réciproque soit à la même hauteur.
À ce sujet, avant que je le traduise, à ce sujet, vous avez deux textes traduits en français que je vous conseille d'emmener avec vous. Le premier est une lettre de Priama Diia à leurs amis français à l'occasion de la journée d'hier. Et le deuxième est l'intervention de Katya à l'université d'été des mouvements sociaux à Bordeaux il y a quelques semaines, et dans laquelle vous verrez aussi qu'elle parle de Gaza. He was saying, donc vous pouvez les récupérer sur la table. He was underlining the fact that he had seen in the demonstration yesterday a group of students in Ukraine, if I understood well, who were both supporting Gaza and Ukraine. And it seems that it was a real gesture of international politics. Précise aussi, vous trouverez aussi ça dans les publications-là, que certains de nos camarades ukrainiens, à commencer par ceux qui sont là, ont dit des choses très claires sur la Palestine. Et je propose donc qu'on reste là pour ce soir.